do one more all call. So 2 more minutes, and then we'll go from there. So we're missing Deepika. Jennifer said it's late her side. Great. So it might just be us. Someone messaged me 1 second. And Sanya and Chetna, what time is it on over there on you guys' side?
It's 5:30
5:30
AM or PM?
Yes, AM.
Are you kidding me? This is not gonna work. This is not. Oh, the joys of scheduling a meeting. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Let me see. What message? Oh, Jennifer said she was trying to join. Oh, there she is. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so it's like super random times all over. So I'm definitely going to send out another doodle poll, and then hopefully, I'm hoping this time we can set up a consistent time throughout the summer. Everyone will know that time. Normal doodle polls. I think we're all getting through all the bugs and kinks, and this is pretty much consistent with how Google Summer Code went last year. You know, new things get introduced, but the more times we do it, the better we get. So, so yeah, I'm positive, and thank you guys for being patient and working with me as we get these meetings scheduled. So this is our second bi-weekly meeting, and I sent out an agenda in the email and also in this invite. So I'm going to open it real quick. And so we're going to go through the agenda, and I set it up so that this meeting could be like maybe 30 minutes. But of course, if more time is needed, that is fine. I see Deepika Deepika needed an invite, so I'm going to invite her again to this exclusive party that people can watch later. All right, so 1 second as I open up the agenda, and then we'll go from there. All right. So I just did the welcome, and concerning updates, I think I put in our free node that the midterm evaluations are coming up, but I have not heard from Rose concerning this. But I'll follow up with her. And once I get further clarification on when it's coming up, I'm thinking it's going to be around next week, which sounds pretty soon. But once I get clarifications, I'll send out an email about it. And typically, I believe we have both mentees fill out the evaluation and at least one mentor. And then mentors, you can switch it up, so maybe one mentor can do it now and one mentor can do it later. In terms of other updates, so I'm out of order already. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to do the PM updates too, and I'll probably add some things at the end. So Emily, Cindy, and I are working to get you, Chetna and Sanya, you guys, the necessary things for you to perform for the next upcoming weeks. So I saw on the timeline that you guys created that you'll be working on the introduction screen, and I think another screen. So those things are already created, the images, so we'll get those to you in separate. You let us know how you want it, and we'll get it to you that way. Right now, they're in Illustrator files, so they can be in JPEGs, PNG, GIFs, however you want it. let us know and work with you concerning that. And last thing is, if anyone needs me, I'm typically on Google Chat most of the days. You're most welcome to ping me. I love having conversations or breaks while I'm programming, so definitely reach out, and I'll be reaching out to all of you. So, first up, I have Chetna. Chetna, would you give us an update on your work, and then afterwards, or it'll be kind of informally during too. There'll be some sort of Q&A by the members in the call. So, yeah. So that's it. So I'll hand it to you, Chetna.
Okay, thank you, Vinda, for the introduction and the welcome note. I would really like to request you, if possible, that could you please share your screen with the video on, because I'm on limited bandwidth. I might not be able to demonstrate it on Hangout on here.
So you want me to show those links that you had?
I sent a video with the demonstration. It'll be great if you can show that, or else I'll try to do it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do it. So you want me to play that first?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
could please do that first.
All right. So that's what I'm going to do. 1 second.
In the meanwhile, maybe I can give a short update about my work.
Okay.
Yeah. Last week I talked to Alma about how the implementation should go on, and the way we decided was to start with the DB design, whatever we had at that stage, and get the class diagram in with all the classes and the attributes fixed in. So that's exactly what I have done over this week. Apart from this, as I was working on the classes, I realized that maybe some part of game mechanics can be implemented at this stage, and using that I have implemented the basic game mechanics, which is sufficient to pull over questions considering a particular answer. What I mean by that is that for a particular option, you know that there is a next question which should pop out, and that is exactly what the game is doing right now. um, if Vinda can put up the video, we'll be able to see the same in a working app. Apart from that, we have also created CSV files, which were also shown in the DB design documents. We have tried to remain as consistent with the CSV files, especially I and Sanya, so that the developers don't have to write different CSV files for Android or iOS. They are exactly the same. It'll be great if we can get the curriculum in that format so as to update our scenarios and the entire database. Right now we are working with a single scenario, and because it is single scenario, the way I have taken it into consideration is I have looped it over so that the game doesn't stop and the user keeps on playing depending on the responses. The same can be seen in the video. Other important thing that we had to do was to write test cases, obviously, because the database is dependent on a CSV file, and it is very important that the CSV file is in correct format, because if it is not, things would start falling apart. So I have written test class, which I've also committed on GitHub, and which you people can see. I experienced a short difficulty on GitHub. Uh, Hello.
Hello, we're listening.
Yeah. So I had a short difficulty on GitHub. That is, my Power Up Android folder was converted into a sub module. I was trying to understand what sub modules are. What my understanding says is that you cannot see the exact tree under that folder, but you can clone it and then you can get the entire app working on your own system. It'll be great if mentors and project managers can look through it. But yes, I'll work on the converting the sub module to a tree. That is pretty much a quick update from my end. Apart from that, it'll be great if we can have the video on.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and play the video. And concerning GitHub mentors, if you could check out what Chetna has committed, and if it's all set, just give a +1, and that will signal to Rose to go ahead and to add it to the Power Up code, which is all new. So that'll be awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. Let me know if you don't hear the sound. And yeah, this will be interesting. Are you guys ready? All right, let's do this.
hope you're doing great. I'm sorry, but there are some issues with my internet, and I don't want this meeting to go off without my presentation. So I've decided to prepare a short video for you all to see what I have done while week 2. So as you can see on your screen, you'll see that there's an option which provides the user with a possible question and a set of answers for it. As you see on your screen, there's a question put forth which says, let's go back to my place, with a set of options like maybe another time and short. I'm sorry, but the user interface is not very fancy at this moment, which is done deliberately so as to avoid time on them and to make sure that it is more consistent with the mockups given at the later stage of the project. Now, depending on the user input, for example, maybe another time for the first case, the second screen, that is the response screen, pops up. The response screen has the second question with a possible set of options. For example, in this case, the only option is to return. Now, as you can see, there's a next scene which comes up. The next scene indicates that that scene is completed and the user can proceed to another scene. Now, for this case, I have considered only a single scene. You can add scenes in the CSV file and get more scenes into the action. Now, suppose the user entered sure. There's another set of questions which would appear. For example, the question here is, if we head to my place, what we are gonna do, right? So the possible set of options could be maybe can we talk about this or sure. Depending on the user input, they can talk about the utilities, they can discuss if they are comfortable or not with the entire. So this is the current app which is in action, which takes the game mechanics into consideration depending on the database design. Now, coming coming to the implementation and the class diagram part, this is my Power Up directory with the source and the possible classes. So as you can see, I've created all the classes which were indicated in the class diagram. Classes include classes like answers, classes like questions, classes like scenarios. Some of these classes have setters and getters, while some other classes implement the game mechanics. For example, here in game you can see the entire mechanics of the current implementation. Apart from this, I have a session history which tells me where to restore a game from, and scores, which is all these classes are in sync with the class diagram which was proposed earlier. Apart from this, I will also like to bring you to the CSV files so as to make sure how it is working. As you can see on your screens, this is nothing fancy but 3 VIs screen split vertically. The first screen is the scenario screen, the second one is the answers, and the third is the questions. The next window over here shows the Eclipse platform with all the classes and a window with the operation in action. So from this window to this window, you can see how the changes were being made. That is pretty much all I have right now. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any feedbacks for me. Your inputs are completely valuable and will help me to improve the project. Apart from it, I've also updated the current code on the GitHub. It will be great if we can review that. And there might be an issue there, a glitch actually. The glitch is that GitHub has actually converted my Power Up directory as a submodule. I'm still trying to figure out how that submodule can be converted into a tree. But please let me know if you have any inputs about that as well, so that I can work on it. Thank you for your time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Good night.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chetna. This is really great. I'm happy to see this. Like, wow, what? I'm out of words. So there's two things. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Cindy, Jennifer, everyone's like, yeah. So there's two things. Cindy has actually written up a really nice curriculum, and she's working on the second one. And I apologize if that didn't get into you guys' hands. And I see that you guys have a CSV file template, and we're currently in the process of trying to convert it to what you guys need. Is there a way to send back how you want us to have it in an Excel file? What I can do is, let me see if I can pull it up for you guys to see. Me and Cindy were actually talking about it this earlier today. So 1 second, let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. All right, until I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again. So here it is. So this one is about communication refusal skills. And so we want to get this to you, but in the right manner. I know I proposed this initial CSV file. I'm not sure if you guys are currently doing that or if there were any changes. I remember we had some initial discussions about powers. So I just want to make sure we are all on the same page concerning what is needed in order to get you this curriculum so you can start testing against it and making sure that it can play through. Yes.
And okay, so what I was thinking is that is it possible if we can send you our CSV files and you can look through and tell us if there are some issues with it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of code is already implemented with with the CSV file for both me and Sanya. So
yes.
I mean, it is okay if we have to convert the code. That's not an issue. But it'll be great if we can start with this so that we can proceed further instead of working on it again.
Yes, definitely send it to us, and we'll review it and also get you that curriculum that I just showed you to you, so you can have that as your test. And then we're going to give you 2 tests. Cindy, after we format that first one, we'll also work on a second one that includes the powers. But we definitely want to get those to you so you have that and you can push forward and keep going, because I know that's really important. Does anyone else have any questions, comments, or concerns? All right. So those who are watching, once again, you guys feel free to, if you have any questions, comments, or concern, to let Chetna know. So we're going to move on to Sanya. Chetna, did you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
No questions.
Okay, great. So Sanya, the floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. Whatever I've been doing for the whole week, I've updated it on my blog. So I guess I'll share my screen with you, and please let me know if you can all see it.
All right.
So can you guys see it?
I can see it, but can someone else confirm that they can see it?
And also I'm scrolling the screen, so if you can see it, I'm scrolling it.
Okay, and then Emily said she can see it, and we can see you scroll. Perfect.
Okay, great. So after having finalized the database schema and its design, after some further discussion and iterations with our mentors, so we have actually been able to sort all the conversations in an organized manner. So after that, we had to go ahead with the implementation of the database on iOS. So for me, it was iOS. So the first thing that I did was research, and I researched the requirements for the implementation. So for that, the first thing that I saw was that unfortunately, Mac OS, it has an embedded SQLite DBMS. because I needed to work with SQLite in iOS. So when I say it's embedded, it means that it's there in the form of a library, and it has all its functions which we can import for all our database operations. So it works pretty much like any other in any other language. We have libraries and we can import all its functions, and like we can import the library and we can call those functions. So that is one thing that is there in Mac OS. Then the next thing is SQLite. It's written in C language. So, but I am coding in Swift, which is the new Apple language. So I needed a wrapper, and which was FMDB, the one that I will be using. So it's an existing SQLite wrapper on top of SQLite, and it will basically act as an interface for SQLite and my app to work so that I can access the database easily. So after having done all my research and getting all the requirements for it, I went ahead with the development environment setup and the project setup for the implementation, the actual implementation. So the first thing up was I created the Xcode project.
So Sonia,
Xcode, yeah,
I have
sure.
one quick question. Could you explain to the team what a wrapper is? So because it's just to give everyone a general understanding.
So so I have mentioned about the FMDB wrapper. If you can you all see it, the heading. So this is a wrapper around SQLite API. So the thing is that SQLite, it's coded up in C language, and I'm going to be using Swift. So so what happened was earlier on we used Objective-C in iOS. So since we used Objective-C, there weren't too many issues because Objective-C and C are pretty similar, and we did not face exactly any problems. But now since we are using Swift, so this wrapper, it acts as an interface between our language Swift, in which I'll be actually coding, and SQLite. So and also there is this bridging header file available, point number 3 here. So it says that it offers to configure and add an Objective-C bridging header file so that we don't have any issues when we convert from Objective-C, which was the previous language of iOS, to Swift. So that's why we need this wrapper, and it has its own classes and its functions through which we can access the database.
So why did you guys choose Swift over Objective-C?
So I talked to my mentors about it in the very first week. So Swift is the new Apple language, and it's like the future. I mean, eventually all code, everything will be converted into Swift. And also I talked to the other people who are working on iOS. So all of them seem to be working in Swift. So I thought we would go ahead and like work with Swift.
Okay.
Yeah. So any more questions? I hope it's clear.
No, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so then I created this Xcode project. Xcode is the Apple IDE for developing software. So, and I chose Swift. And then I included this SQLite dynamic library, the library that I was talking about. So it was a simple matter of importing it. And since it's there, it's an embedded DBMS. So I included this library in our project. Next thing was the database creation, of course. So for that, this iOS, it has its own, like I said, it has its own embedded thing. So here I researched. So it's actually shipped with a pre-installed interactive environment. So I could have gone ahead and done it, coded up. I mean, created the database on the terminal. But then I saw this wonderful add-on plugin of the Firefox browser, which is called the SQLite Manager. So SQLite Manager, it's a powerful database management system which has a very powerful GUI, and I have a picture over here. I hope you guys see it. And so it basically has the structure of SQLite Manager. So so in this case, I don't really have to actually write all the database creation queries and actually inserting the values. So I simply use this. I downloaded this add-on plugin, and it's supported in iOS. And I created this table, and I also filled in the dummy values for the sample conversation that we discussed. So so I used this manager, this SQLite manager, but then I had to integrate it into our project. So for that, okay, and one more thing, all these files, the data that I have entered, it's through CSV files, because as we had discussed, we would import all the data through CSV files. So one more wonderful thing about SQLite Manager is that you can directly import CSV files. I mean, that's one thing that it supports, because CSV files basically, they store tabular data in plain text, so they can simply be imported into SQLite Manager. So like Chetna was showing you the CSV file format, I also followed the same format. So those CSV files, they'll be delimited by a comma. So that is pretty much the format, and it's very easy to enter, and it can be easily imported into this manager, SQLite Manager. So then I simply added, so I created this SQLite file and I added it into my project, and that was a simple matter of dragging and dropping that file into the actual location of the created project. So then I had this thing into my project. So next was, I have actually shared a screenshot of the code that I wrote to implement the database and to actually access the created database and extract data. So here I have written some code. Should I zoom it for you guys so that maybe I'll zoom it a little bit. So here I have the first few lines over here. They show you the actual access to it. So this particular part, it's basically identifying the application's documents directory, and it constructs the paths to this file. So this is the file that I created through SQLite Manager, main database.sqlite. So this code creates, it constructs a path to that file, and then here this thing, ns file manager instance, this is actually going to check, it's going to detect if the database file is already created or not. Please feel free to interrupt whenever you want to, so that if you don't understand anything, I'll go ahead and explain. So that having been done, here then I open here this function call, it actually opens that database, and here I have written some sample queries which can actually fetch our data from that database. So this is basically the mechanism of accessing our created database in SQLite Manager. So here these queries, they're going to fetch the data for you, and then so all this data fetch and all the results, they are actually stored in the FMDB wrapper that we used. So all of it is actually, all these are classes of FMDB. So they are fetched through these statements. And then to actually get it into our interface to display it, so that we can check whether we can actually get the data or not. So here are some statements, some code that I've written to fetch it. And then I have some, so this is all explaining everything. Then I have some screens, sample screens. I'll zoom out. So this is the sample screen that I created just to test, so that, I mean, we are actually able to access the data or not. So here is the first screen. So this is Marcelo's dialog, and then if Rosie clicks on this, then we navigate to this screen which says this, and if the user clicks this, sure, then it will navigate to scene 3, where we have a different set of questions. So I was actually able to navigate between the different scenes, which would open up according to the choice by the avatar. So yeah, that's I think pretty much about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
I'm also very impressed. Awesome job, Sanya.
Thank you.
So you answered my questions. Yeah, like I agree. Like you guys are doing an awesome job, and I'm looking forward to our next meeting. Does anyone else on the team have any questions, comments, or concerns?
I just have one question. Sanya, is there any way you can commit your code on GitHub as well, so we can actually like test it?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Okay, perfect. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Great. All right. So let's see.
Oh, I just wanted to say that this all looks really great. This isn't really my bailiwick, so I don't know all of the everything, but it looks really great from where I'm sitting. So great job, you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I totally agree. Um, so then let's see what else is on the agenda. I think I've already did my PM updates. So I guess what is next for you guys? I know in Freenode it said you guys want to work on the introduction screen. So my big question is, what do you need from us, the user team, to help you get you guys going?
Brenda,
Yeah.
particularly from the project managers, what we would need would be something like mock-ups, which you were talking about in the initial phase. For example, there's a particular map which is given in the proposal. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, am I audible? Hello?
Hello. No, I heard you. So you want the mock-ups, the map. Do you want like things individualized, or what do you need?
Yeah, because what I mean by that is we haven't understood what exactly those mock-ups are yet. For example, in particular, if I have to talk about map, I do not know what functionality the map would do for me in the game. Would it show me would it show some animation of a character going from one place to another? Would it just direct me from a scenario to another scenario? So we were wondering what kind of implementation needs to be done for it.
Okay. Is there anything else you
Apart,
guys need from us?
apart from that, it'll be great if you can provide us with the images of the avatars we would like to create, so that we can start populating our tables according. Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you
what
need
I mean,
the images of the avatar.
yeah. So what I mean, maybe some kind of eyes or whatever faces we think that avatar would be fixed into together and created into a single one.
What format
So
do you guys want the images in?
the format is fine with us. It can be any format, preferably JPG or PNG.
And Sonia, I heard you were saying something.
No, I wanted to say the same thing only, like the images, because for the introduction screen, we would need some images and maybe like the background screen or something so that it's consistent. So, yeah, that's about
Okay.
it.
So I was looking at the introduction screen today, so I will get that to you guys, and yeah, I'll get you the introduction screen, and then I'll talk with Cindy and Emily in terms of getting you guys a description of how the map is supposed to work in the game. And let's see. I know you guys want to work on that this week. Uh, so I guess Emily, are you free after this meeting?
Yes, I am free.
Okay, so we'll talk about that tonight, and hopefully we can get that to you guys as soon as I want to say tomorrow, to make sure that we don't affect your timeline. And then I've already put everything else, all your key dates in Freenode, so we will be able to, as we have these meetings, meet those needs that you need.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Yeah, great.
And so, oh, anything else?
Um,
Um,
I
actually, yeah, go ahead, Chetna.
Okay, so I just sent a mail with the CSV files. There was a small remark I would like to make, that it will be great if we can make sure that no description and answers in question have comma in it, because then applying a delimiter becomes difficult. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah,
A
yeah. So what
comma.
I mean, I have given an example too for it.
Okay.
That's
So
all.
no
Sanya?
punctuation at all, or no comma?
No, just no comma.
All right, we'll see what. Well, all right, we'll see what we can do.
I'd like to say something here, if I guess Chetna, if we enclose that particular statement in inverted commas, then I think we could do it. I think so. I read it somewhere.
Yes, we can do it, but then you have to apply a couple of delimiters, and then it is not a generic delimiter. It it
Mm-hmm.
depends on case to case. So what happens is when you split it with a comma, it will take, for example, in the case hello comma how are you, it will take hello and how are you as different strings. If
Mm-hmm.
you have to work with that
Chetna,
scenario,
sorry.
yes.
Chetna, do you mean
Yeah.
as different columns, right?
Yes, so the
Because they
delimiter
are
would
already
be,
comma separated files, and if you have a comma
yes,
in dialog, it will take it as different columns, right?
exactly. That is exactly what I meant.
Okay. Mm,
So, so we'll go back and look over our stuff as feedback, and I guess as a future iteration, it would be nice if commas could be accepted, because then it would have a nice natural flow of the language when a user reads. But we'll go back and look through and make sure that's the case for um, to get the test data going through. So this.
Hey, Chetna. Oh, sorry, I just want to ask Chetna a question.
All right, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so I just downloaded your CSV files, and first thing I noticed is that it looks different from the other CSV file or the table that Sanya made. So can we
Um,
try to standardize them in any way? And also your CSV files, for me at least, I can't seem to find the metadata, so I'm not sure what each column is supposed to mean in terms of numerical value. Um, so it would help me if you could send metadata around what each column
okay,
should
sure,
mean.
sure. I'll definitely send you the metadata, but for the tables, what I have used the exact tables we have, I and Sanya created together. So probably the tables are not different. We'll sit together once again and see the tables are not different, and then we'll provide you with the metadata. Would that be okay?
Sure, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, okay, great.
So it looks like what you sent up us was split up into three different CSVs. The goal was to set it up in one. So is there a way that you guys can show us how the one CSV would look that we would give to you? If you could send that.
Okay, okay, we'll work on that. Maybe by evening we'll get you a single CSV with all the tables.
Okay. But you guys have done great work, and thank you for getting that to us. So any final questions, comments, or concerns, or even praises for the team before we all get off the call?
Um, so I had one question. So I guess if it's all right, because it's awkward timings for a lot of people, or should I like discuss it later with my mentors?
Is it for the entire team, or is it for?
It's kind of related, like the technical issue. I think, yeah, like
Go
related to
ahead
the
with the question, we'll decide.
All right. So actually, the thing is, while I was implementing it this week, so I realized while I was coding it, like when we write the queries, the SQL queries, so we simply define it in the way like, so select whatever from the table and where we define the condition. So I realized that for each screen, we can actually write the AID, the answer ID there. So then I don't see how we are actually making use of all the foreign references and all the key constraints that we actually worked on. So I got lost there.
What do you
Um,
what do you mean by key constraints?
Like we made those foreign key constraints, like the next QID and the QID that it actually refers to. So the entire database schema, how exactly are we putting that into use?
Um,
Are you
Sanya,
talking?
maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Panda.
are you talking about the primary keys?
Yes, the primary keys and the foreign keys,
Oh,
like we're
so
just making use of AID and QID.
so the primary keys may not be utilized when you're coding, but the idea is that each row should have a unique conversation topic. They shouldn't be duplicated. And so a primary key helps with that. And then foreign key is
They are used for the referential integrity. Maybe if you're not using the concept of foreign keys in the code itself, but they are definitely required for the normalization purpose and the schema purpose for the table
yes.
itself. So don't worry about it why we aren't using those referential constraints as of straight away. Maybe you don't see the use as of now, but maybe we'll, the more we'll go into deeper into implementation, maybe we'll use them at a later stage. And sometimes it does happen that we always we always put a query on primary key, but that doesn't mean that all these differential integrities and keys don't play a role. They definitely have a role to play.
Thank you, Deepika.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Deepika, too.
Sanya,
Yeah.
you satisfied?
Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks.
Oh, Chetna, did you have something to add?
I just wanted to say that maybe Sanya, the SQLite would help you to make your query simpler if you are using these foreign keys. I mean, changing from one scene to another scene would be more easier if you start using the foreign keys instead of just depending on the primary ones. That's pretty much all I have to say. Because while implementation, I do realize that these foreign keys were actually very helpful from changing from one scene to another.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Okay, cool. So this concludes. So yeah, I think I'll start scheduling the meetings for like about 45 minutes. This concludes our bi-weekly meeting. Awesome work. I love the blogs. This is great. Definitely, I feel like they'll benefit you when you go out to employers. You like, this is the great work I did. There's videos, there's blogs, it's posted on GitHub. I feel like you guys will be super marketable once you graduate. I guess in closing, what I'll be sending out another doodle poll, and I'll make sure that the time zone is clear and there, and hopefully we can just find a time. When you do submit your time, please select a time that you feel like you can meet on a consistent time bi-weekly, because the meetings will be bi-weekly unless there's a need to meet on a week-to-week or week basis. But I appreciate you guys for coming on this meeting. Chetna, Sanya, you guys are my heroes. 5 a.m. I'll probably be asleep on this call if it was that early. And please communicate with me and let me know if something like this happens again. And I'm definitely flexible, and I'll just pull down the poll and resubmit it. If the majority of people are saying like this time is not going to work for us. So once again, thank you guys, and see you in 2 weeks, and talk to you via email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.